What is the first thing that comes into your mind when you hear the word communist or communism? Is communism really evil? Exploring an ideology that has sparked revolutions, transformed nations, and stirred heated debates across the globe. From its philosophical roots to its implementation in various countries, today we're uncovering 30 fascinating facts about communism. 1. In the mid-20th century, over 1/3 of the world's population lived under a communist government. 2. Despite its stated economic policy, the Chinese government invests heavily in foreign capitalist enterprises. 3. In 2008, communist philosopher Karl Marx's book Capital became a surprise bestseller in the United States due to the economic recession. 4. There have been communist states on 4 continents: Asia, Europe, South America, and Africa. 5. Karl Marx, a German philosopher and economist, is considered to be the father of communism. 6. Although both Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels developed their theory of communism in a joint effort, the resultant economic philosophy is just called Marxism, because Marx was the senior partner. 7. For Marx, the most important class distinction was that between the bourgeoisie, the capitalists who owned the factories, and the proletariat, the workers who didn't have any property of their own. 8. The most widely read book on communism is The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. 9. A communist detention center in Cambodia known as S21 was so harsh in its treatment of prisoners that only 7 of the 20,000 people held there actually survived. 10. Karl Marx viewed history as a series of necessary events dictated by economic and class struggles. He saw communism as not merely a desirable outcome, but as an inevitable one. 11. Although Karl Marx encouraged workers to unite in a socialist revolution, he never actually advocated for communist rule after such a revolution. He believed that would only happen as the result of a gradual revolution. 12. Starting in 1949, Communist China began to suppress Christianity, forcing all foreign missionaries to leave the country, banning Christian publications, and forcing prominent Chinese Christians to write a declaration of commitment against any imperialistic organizations, including Christian churches outside China. 13. The Cambodian Communist Party, or Khmer Rouge, killed roughly 2 million Cambodian citizens in a genocidal campaign lasting from 1975 to 1979. 14. The leader of the communist regime in Cambodia is generally known by his pseudonym Pol Pot, but his actual name was Saloth Sar. 15. The government of the USSR regularly silenced political dissidents by sending them to psychiatric hospitals where they were diagnosed as schizophrenics and kept drugged. To facilitate this, USSR psychiatrists ascribed to a fictional mental illness, which they called sluggish schizophrenia, a form of schizophrenia that supposedly progressed so slowly, patients could be treated before ever manifesting a single symptom. 16. Karl Marx's philosophy of communism provided the basic worldview inherent in communist governments, but Lenin, Stalin, and Mao Zedong each had a major influence on the ways communism has actually been put into practice. 17. The phrase "killing fields" was originally a reference to the mass graves where the communists in Cambodia buried millions of the victims of their brutal rule. 18. Currently, the only communist nations in the world are Laos, Cuba, China, North Korea, and Vietnam. 19. The Berlin Wall was purportedly built to keep fascists from West Berlin out of communist Germany, but many experts say its real purpose was to stop massive numbers of East Germans from defecting to the West. 20. In 1961, an American official, on his way to the opera in East Berlin, got into an argument with an East German official at the Berlin Wall, which resulted in a 16-hour face-off between American and Soviet tanks at Checkpoint Charlie. 21. The communist regime in Soviet Russia was responsible for inaugurating the space age when it launched Sputnik, the first satellite to orbit Earth, in 1957. 22. As Mao Zedong's Communist Party gained ascendancy during the Chinese Civil War in 1927 to 1949, They established cultural takeover committees in important cities, whose job it was to regulate, censor, and distribute cultural materials in accordance with communist ideals. 23. Between 1.2 and 1.7 million people are believed to have died while incarcerated in the Gulag, the Soviet Union's labor camps. 24. The 1932 to 1933 Ukrainian famine was actually engineered by Stalin in order to punish and gain control over the kulaks, a class of farmers whose independent economic success made them, in Stalin's view, enemies of the Soviet state. 25. Over 50 years ago, the United States began passing economic sanctions against Cuba, hoping the resultant economic downturn would cause the people to remove Fidel Castro from power. 3 communist leaders later, the sanctions have still not managed to change communism in Cuba. 26. Fidel Castro was the leader of communist Cuba for nearly 49 years. 27. Until its collapse, the USSR provided millions of dollars in subsidies to communist Cuba to help the regime stay afloat. 28. The communist nation of Cuba has the most repressed media and most tightly controlled internet in all of the Americas. 29. The difference between communism and socialism is a matter of debate. Communism is generally based on the thought of Karl Marx, but there are many forms of non-Marxian socialism, such as Ricardian socialism, or any form of socialist doctrine that denies the tenets of Marx's historical materialism. 30. Socialist experiments were proposed in ancient times. From Plato's Callipolis, or Beautiful City in Republic, to the communal living experiments of early Christians, sharing goods among the whole community is an old and oft-attempted idea. And that wraps up our deep dive into the world of communism with 30 fascinating facts that shed light on its history, principles, and impact across the globe. Whether these insights have sparked your curiosity or challenged your perspectives, the journey through the complex tapestry of communism is crucial to understanding the political and social dynamics that have shaped our world. If you found this exploration enlightening, don't forget to hit the like button, share this video with friends and fellow history buffs, and subscribe to our channel for more content that makes history come alive. Have thoughts, experiences, or questions about communism? Drop a comment below. We love engaging with your insights and continuing the conversation. You may also want to watch. We may see the first trillionaire in the next 10 years and the hobbies of geniuses. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep exploring the vast narratives that our world has to offer.